What do you think niggas hate more, reading or accountability?
Reading. Reading, for sure. I for sure think reading.
You think we hold ourselves accountable enough?
Ourselves or each other?
Both. Yourself as an individual and each other as a community.
I mean, if you think about as far as the things we prioritize, those can be better. But I think accountability is important, but we like to point the finger. And I think a lot of that has to do with, trauma, lack of opportunity, lack of people hearing you out. It's like, see, it's not me, it's him, or it's not me, it's y'all. It's a thing we have. I feel like we just kind of got to get our viewpoints right, because we see a lot of the wrong things in, I guess, the right situation, because we have a lot to look forward to. We got a lot to live up to, and we not holding ourselves accountable based on our own metrics, our own communities, the things that we have. We looking at what everybody else got or where everybody else is, and then we judging ourselves based on that. But I think the reading aspect of it is extremely important. But like, what is there to read if you a dude in the hood who don't know much, or a lady in the hood that don't know much? They're gonna tell you, oh, you gotta read Art of War, 48 Laws of Power.
Those are great reads. I read those in the hood.
Yeah, that's some 4-yard books. I get it. I'm into the 4-yard books, but it's like, all right, I get the mental warfare aspect of it, but who are you fighting? So you gonna read 48 Laws of Power, the Art of War, to go use it on another nigga?
Damn.
I'm not into that, and especially coming from that, like, I personally think like it's more like, say, if you watch films all day, right? If you read The Method, if you pick up some scene books, if you read anything about how these things are created on writing by Stephen King, like, get into that, because these are your passions, these are your pastimes. Get into something that is, download the vocabulary app, get your word of the day, things of that nature. But I feel like the spaces we look for information are limited based on who we are and the nuance we have as a people. And I feel like we have a lot of self-esteem issues when it comes to like reading. I remember when I was a kid, I used to hate reading. I never got bad grades or nothing, but I stutter real bad. And I used to like kind of talk relatively slow, which led to me talking too fast, trying to not stutter. And also vision. Who got time for a speech therapist? Who got eye insurance? You know what I mean? So a lot of those things kind of hinder us from even wanting to read in the first place. So now as we get older and we're assessing information, now what do we know? Like, what are we looking to look to? I feel like we will hold each other accountable if we can get our priorities right and our understanding of who we are right. And that comes from, I feel, the reading aspect that you talked about. And when you say reading, I'm thinking more broad and sense of like garnering knowledge and trying to learn.
That's why the Nation of Islam was so important, because first book my dad gave me was the autobiography of Malcolm X. And then that led me to read Message to the Black Man. Then I read From Niggas to Gods by Akil. Those books right there instill all of that stuff we talking about right now. It instills accountability. It gives you a sense of responsibility, and it just broadens your mind to something that can better you.
Yeah, and I feel like one infers the other. So if we can just kind of access more information, it'll really help. Because I said, when I came up here at the beginning, I didn't grow up listening to music. I'm gonna be real, bro. Like, I was ignorant to a point that I didn't even understand the concept of like a concert or like a show. I had never once in my life ever knew when a concert was, where it was, how they work. I didn't understand recording studios. I'd never really been in no record stores like that. Like, I didn't really understand what music was. I had to research and to find it out. And that's a very humbling situation that make you feel vulnerable. Yeah. So when it comes to film, television, learning about that, when it comes to just life learning in general, it's really hard for us to kind of gain information without feeling like we're out of place. So we can kind of fix that. It can fix a lot of our problems.
We don't want to feel dumb.
Yeah, we don't want to feel dumb, but you got to figure out what feeds you, basically. Like what he said, if you doing film, you watch film, and it whatever caters to you, what makes you feel good. But if you don't even know where to start with that, I could see how that could be a challenge.
Yeah, and then you think about, like, from your vantage point, stand-up comedians. Every stand-up comedian I speak to, or any just comedian in general that does stand-up, they talk about bombing or, figuring out a set and how hard it is at the beginning and how you have to make mistakes. Within that community, it's embraced. Like, you hear people talk about it. You hear people talk about their woes and help each other out. I feel like within these other communities, we kind of got to apply that same sort of grace to each other, give people the opportunity to fall on their ass and learn a little bit.